you so much, Mr. Saurabh Gupta, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting.
As you rightly said while we were discussing that, now we are in the phase of post-cookie-less world, and we would be talking about how is it a challenge or the opportunity for all the people who have joined us from the marketing brand sector. So if you can please introduce yourself a little bit about all the amazing work that you have been doing in this space, and also a little of your thoughts on this topic.
So, quickly intro, I'm a third-time entrepreneur, sold last two companies to Times Group and to a private equity fund based out of UK, and started what we have built today back in 2017. So we started as a reg tech company, as a regulatory tech company, working closely with regulators like RBI, SEBI, and IRDI and all, where we have built a different set of technology frameworks for them, from video KYC to other set of things. And slowly, gradually, we realized that we have been solving only one piece of the entire problem statement, and created a data framework. So if you happen to use DigiYatra or DigiPass, that is a data framework we built where we focused on how we can make it privacy compliant, so no data is getting stored at the user at the central repository, but rather being controlled and consented and within the device of the user itself. So we then leveraged it to creating a larger framework in the cookieless world, because that is something I think it's the need of an hour. And I think while we have a discussion, I would touch upon that, how we are impacting 500 million people indirectly when it comes to data privacy, and how we are protecting them from any sort of data abuse altogether.
Thank you so much. With that, my first question would be, so how do you leverage the data intelligence without the need for data sharing? And how would that be beneficial in the post-cookie-less world that we would be, talking about?
So I'm assuming everyone over here is either been a founder or coming from a marketing background. Okay, so point is, so I need not explain the cookies and the part of the things where it talks about the third-party data cookies being involved. So we have seen data privacy getting infringed from this third-party data cookies, and it was unfortunate that no one has taken such stronger steps in the earlier world. It has always been a threat where you are taking user information, you are tracking them across the internet without even letting the consumer know about it or even taking an explicit consent about it. So it was always being on the it was a trade-off between the data privacy and the intelligence where brands and organizations can be built. So in this particular case, we realized that in the cookieless world, which is again after the GDPR and CCPA, which is a California Consumer Protection Act, came into the place. The larger titans of the globe have been forced to kind of shut down those third-party data cookies, so that the intelligence is being limited to now the respective platform itself, where user go and browse through or have a touch point itself. But this would create a big gap in the entire industry of how intelligence need to be democratized. Okay, because so far everyone wants to get a handful of knowledge of what my user, maybe my first party platform user, is doing on other set of platforms itself, and how I can go more personalized, how I can build product which could be really catering the need of the consumer in the most appropriate manner. So that creates a big gap in that part of the intelligence layer. So we thought of, why can't we have both the things handy, where data privacy can be leveraged, but how intelligence can also be democratized in the entire landscape without two organizations sharing data. So the entire culprit in this entire thing is obviously a third party access of the data for which the consent has not been taken. So in this case, we have created a framework where data is residing on the respective premise of all the touch points of the user or the digital platforms as a first party. But how, without sharing that data with each other, they can still interact with them on the intelligence layer. That is something which we have created. And when we did our first implementation of it with our digital travel ID, we realized that how we can really bridge that particular gap which has been created in a cookieless world.
Thank you so much. So, as you are sharing, it is very evident that data privacy and protection over here plays a very big role. And now with DPDP Act being already, launched, getting into the implementation stage, how do you feel about how this would affect how this post cookie-less world and its implications will affect the branding marketing sector for different organizations?
So I would say the performance marketing would be the right word to it, because performance marketing has always been driven by the data intelligence layer itself, to kind of understand the user behavior across multiple touch point, which may be on the first party data or the first party cookies itself. So anything which is implemented on the using the pixel or the heat map on the website of the first party platform, plus the touch points across other set of things. Now, this would be highly impacted. Reason being because presently in the cookieless world, where we most of the performance marketing has been operating on DMPs of the world, that will go obsolete. When I say obsolete, their intelligence would be of much more older than it was supposed to be, and this will create uh, this need to create a different organization who can come up with a framework, with a technology which could leverage the intelligence on a larger side, and ensuring the data privacy at the same side of it. Because it's when it's a trade off between the data privacy and the intelligence for making anything personalized itself. First advice is always being given is not to go on an individual level for a data segregation, but rather on a cohort basis itself, and at the same time ensuring that no sensitive information is being used or processed as per the DPDP Act itself. So any organization working on this thing has to be handy when it comes to what the geographical law talks about data, and also should be able to fulfill the need of the brands and the brand marketing company on that particular side. So any organization who has both the things, they will be able to create a balanced platform, product, framework, whatever, to really bring a positive change in the ecosystem.
Thank you. So, while we are talking about this post cookieless world, and also right now that many organizations are doing the cookie based targeting, comparing both these, what role does contextual targeting play in both, and how effective it is compared to the cookie based targeting that is there?
So contextual targeting is something on any of the first party platforms has has already started taking place couple of years back. People have started realizing, because when Google has been banning the third party data cookies since 2021, and they started moving towards contextual based understanding user behavior altogether. So now it's no longer being put to intent, but rather on the attention, on every attention span of the user or the consumer on that respective platform. So for that, they cater data as a first party platform, and there they tend to based on to the user span on a specific page, on a specific category, on specific product, is something which is being taken into the analysis. and according to that, the retargeting is being done. Also, they tend to identify the user behavior not only just on the contextual side of it, but also adding a layer to it where they could create a large language models which could even attract platforms, or we even attract consumers on an organic side of it. So that is something which is happening. Contextual targeting is something which already a lot of organizations which are data rich in nature, from our telcos to banks to e-commerce platforms, have already started putting across, so that they can safeguard themselves of complete darkness of intelligence itself.
Thank you so much. So I believe we're very mindful of the fact that this is a pre-lunch session, so we won't take much of your times. We can already see the drop in energy. The last question for the session is, what privacy-centric solutions are providing to be effective in the post-cookie-less world, and how can marketers integrate privacy into their design and their strategies to ensure compliance and build customer trust? Also, if you can touch upon how AI and ML and all these emerging technologies can contribute to the same.
Okay, so this is gonna be a long answer. So because you have asked 2-3 questions in the one go, so I'll just break down this into 2 or 3 different parts. So in the cookieless world, uh, brands and agencies, or the marketing firms, they have to come with a approach where they could integrate with a platform which is kind of creating a balance between the intelligence democratization as well as on the data privacy side of it. How they can do that is creating a better due diligence of any platform they onboard. What kind of a consent is being coming, what are the sources of this particular this particular platform when it talks about intelligence layer, how much sorry, how much deeply they are integrated itself, whether they are being abide by the geographical law of that particular landscape, and also ensuring that in this entire process, whatever the intelligence even they are asking from this kind of a tool or a platform is being on a cohort level and not on an individual level. uh, there are now ways of how you can validate consent of a user. One of the journey is something which WhatsApp has started doing it, and similarly more other platforms have started looking at it. We have been doing some work in this particular part of the landscape to contribute our best, where we are coming from having a regulation insights, understanding the regulation much better than any other organization in the geography, and also creating a framework which could leverage the user privacy on the higher side of it. Not talking about how AI, ML, and other set of technology or Gen AI would take a role in it. See, government has always been working and very vocal about it, that they are going to regulate the certain part of the AI into it, because earlier it was being said by the MITI, Ministry of Electronics and IT, that we gonna any LLM created in the India landscape has to be audited at the MITI level itself, because they could sanitize and ensure that no data, personal data, is being put to use in creating such LLMs or large language models, and at the same time, ensuring that user are not being targeted on an individual level. So there is a higher degree of de-anonymization, higher degree of anonymization, which could be having a better practices. So we use something like ring fencing model or some other different set of model for higher degree of anonymization are being put in place. Because when an organization partner with any of the technology company, uh, the first party platform is very sensitive about the user data, because they directly falls under the regulation. But a technology company may or may not be that sensitive about that particular data. So, and most of these LLMs are being created by different third party technology platforms altogether. So it requires a first party platform to be having a higher degree of due diligence while involving or engaging with any of such third party for even analytics purpose or any other model which is being prepared on their their data lake or uh, uh, sorry data lake or maybe any data model which is being already in place. So that is something where we have to it's a collaborative effort, I believe. It's not only just first party have to be having a higher degree of or I would say lesser degree of resilience around any data abuse or any data theft, but also technology companies, marketing agencies, all have to work together to make this ecosystem much protected for the user, and also ensure that they are that at any given stage. There are a lot of people. There are more than 280 million people who would be added to the internet or will be the first to internet in next coming 5 years itself. And that's why government has been putting up their cloud policy and other set of things to make or ensure that we are able to captivate that kind of a demand. So we have to ensure that those 280 million people should not be afraid of the internet in the first place. I think that's where we all have to ensure we are playing an important part of internet. And if we do not put our best into making it possible, then we will might lose the war.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saurabh Gupta. So with that, we come down to the end of the session.